Alright, so this is my first time in Eldoret, and I've been speaking to myself about how shocked I am with how developed this town is, like what the city is. I thought, you know, Mbale, right? I thought Mbale was a small village, but it was massive and super developed, similar to Eldoret. I thought Eldoret was like some small town area with no tall buildings, but as you can see, there's tall buildings everywhere. And I'm driving right now, so I want to keep this short, but I really had to just whip out my camera and just show you guys what I'm experiencing my first time in Eldoret, because this is insane. It's like all this is here, and I didn't know. I'm like, bro, most people, I guarantee you, they don't know about Eldoret, and they don't know how developed it is, let alone capital cities like Kampala, Nairobi. People outside Africa or outside these countries, they don't know much about Nairobi and Kampala, right? So how about these smaller towns where people who may know Nairobi, people who may know Kampala, may not even know about Eldoret and Mbale and stuff. So that's to say that I have a feeling, like I said, I still need to look into the exact numbers behind how much land costs, how much rent would cost, how much it costs to do business here, how easy is it to do business here. But I suspect that because this is like a hidden gem, there's a lot less competition for people like you and I, who are aware of this amazingness. So this is just crazy, man. This is crazy. This is Eldoret. Yeah. Okay, it's day 2 of my time in Eldoret, and I'm about to do the tour, looking for business and investment opportunities. I was going to do this walking, but as I discovered yesterday, Eldoret is a massive town, so I couldn't feasibly cover Eldoret by walking. So I need to get a car. So I'm in the car, and we're going to drive around and just get a feel for how big Eldoret is, how busy it is, and just get a few ideas of what kind of businesses that we could make in Eldoret. Hopefully no one snatches my phone, by the way. I'm risking my phone just to make a YouTube video. But yeah, let's get started. So on the left, we've got a bunch of shops, chemists, opticians, M-Pesa, and whatnot. Hardware shops, hotel and butchery. That's one common thing I see in this place. Butchery and hotel. This is actually quite common. When I say common, I've seen it like once before, and I've not seen that anywhere else, having a hotel / butchery as like the same kind of business. But apparently that works. So if you're into that business, and why not give it a shot in Eldoret? Again, you see another big building. So this is a motel, it looks like. It looks quite old, actually. Another hotel on the left. So this street is like the main street, and this is actually a building under construction. I'm not sure how long that's been there for, but it shows that people are actively building here. Probably another hotel. But yeah, one thing about this street is that there's actually quite a lot of hotels and guest houses here. Like I was initially staying at a guest house on this road. A supermarket, accommodation, and the buildings are quite tall. Yeah, another building for I'm not sure if that was offices or a residential, but yeah. Yeah, so this is one of the main roads in Eldoret, if not the main road. Yeah. So this is a nice restaurant I went to, Columbus Cafe, quite good. So I'm just gonna branch off of the main road here and just see what it's like down on one of the side roads. Because so far on the main road, there's a bunch of hotels, restaurants, and just a bunch of shops and whatnot, like opticians, pharmacies, electronic shops, the typical kind of shops. But this is a back street, so it seems like this is the area where people who do construction and finishing go to, because it looks like this is like paint. They sell paint in this place. Yeah, so it's obviously less busy than the main road, so not the same kind of businesses here. So this is a machinery shop selling machinery. Yeah, this is definitely a more industrial focused area. It in fact says Drish Industries Limited right there. Zany Glass and Hardware. So yeah, it's definitely giving that vibe. Construction. Okay, so I've reached the end of this industrial area road. So obviously I can't go inside there. So I'm just gonna do a U-turn and get out of here. Okay, so I'm back on the main road. Not much to see on the side road at that time. But yeah, so you can just see a bunch more. There's a mall over here. Petrol station. Yeah, the typical stuff you see on main roads. Obviously it's a lot more busy, so you can have more variety in terms of businesses here. But yeah. I'm not sure what that building is, but it looks like they've got like shops on the bottom and residential at the top. So we've gone quite far out of town, it seems. There's more buildings where only one floor is for shops, as you see here, and the rest are for residential, it seems like. This is typical on streets that are less busy, where yeah, there might be a few people, you can have some shops on the bottom, but only the ground floor. And then the rest of them are just accommodation. So this is another multi-story building, guest house only, no shops, as expected, because we're kind of far out of town, it seems. So I might have to turn back very, very shortly, because I'm trying to focus mainly on the town area. Alright, so I think even though Eldoret is quite a big place, a lot of the commercial activities focus on a specific place. So this is just like, small shops, a hotel in the back there, informal traders mostly, a bunch of informal traders, and that's the hotel I was talking about, or motel rather. So yeah, I think the lesson of today is so far that if you're building a hotel, you probably will have, yes, a lot of competition, but you probably will make some money. There's way too much traffic here, so I want to move off the road so I can do a U-turn. One idea I had for this road as we go back to town is acquiring land on the side of the road and making shops, because clearly there's people who are walking on the side of the road, right? As you can see over there, people walk on the side of the road. So if you were to acquire land, set shops on the bottom, on the ground floor, and then on the next floors, so the second floor, third floor, fourth floor, and so on, you have a hotel or a motel or a guest house like you have over here. So ground floor shops, and then the next floor's residential. I think that's a tried and tested technique, as we've seen in other towns. So this might be the place to grab or buy roadside land. So you can see some shops over here. So these are single-story buildings where people probably haven't really had either the interest or the money to set up a multi-story structure like this one here, because it's quite expensive, and you can still make quite a lot of most of the money is actually in the ground floor with these shops. So there's not as much incentive to go ahead and make a multi-story building. We are approaching town once again, and I'm seeing different businesses. So car dealerships, clearly there's demand, but this is obviously a more capital intensive venture, if you will. But people always need cars, so you can't go wrong with a car dealership. That's a lounge or a club or a bar, by the way. It's also a very good business. I was there yesterday, and they sell, obviously they sell alcohol, but they also sell food and soft drinks as well. So really there's a lot of money in the bar business or the club business, especially in places like Kenya, Uganda, where people really enjoy partying. This is another one. So this is a taxi business. So buy taxis and then sell rides from places like Nakuru to Nairobi or to Naivasha, Kisumu. Yeah, there's taxis everywhere. I'm not sure how much a taxi costs. I'll probably have to find out. But I don't imagine they're super expensive. Probably like what, between $5,000 to $10,000, somewhere in there. Probably even less. But it produces steady cash flows. People always need to move. The only challenge is you need to manage stuff like, you know, having a good driver, collecting payments. How do you make sure that your operation is tracked successfully? Like people actually doing trips and maximizing the utilization of your taxi, basically. So yeah, taxi business, that's another one. All right, so we're back in town. You could probably tell by all these shops, multi-story buildings, malls. There's not much traffic today, but usually traffic is an indicator that we're in town. But yeah, so these are the typical shops that we saw earlier, so I'm not gonna go back into them, but just have a look as I drive. Safari is too, by the way. Safari business, that's quite good in many places, especially like Kisumu, Eldoret, Jinja, Uganda. And these are quite expensive vehicles too, by the way. But you can also rent them out for good amounts of money. Like I think these can go for $100 to $200 a day, somewhere in between, just for safari tours and stuff. So it's another idea. Okay, so you can see the traffic has now built up now. So what I want to do is I'm not going to drive straight down there. I'm gonna turn right. Seems like the traffic's moving now though. But yeah, anyways, this should be more interesting anyway. So let's check out some of these side roads down in what looks like CBD. So supermarket, wow. More multi-story buildings. This one's under construction. This one looks quite old, like it's been under construction for some time. But I imagine they're probably experiencing some financial difficulty because there's no reason to like not complete your building here, because this is like a busy street. You can clearly see a lot of people here. So you'd make money if you finished your building, or at least finish the ground floor, and then use the money from the ground floor to finish the other floors. But yeah, so you see here more shops. I'm actually gonna park here and get out and do a walk around. So let me find some parking. Yeah, this is definitely giving CBD vibes. You can see so many cars parked on a road. So let me find, okay, it looks like I've got a spot over here. So let me take this and get to walking. Boom. All right, so I've now parked the car. I'm now in CBD. I want to do a walking tour just to see what Eldoret is saying. But as I've established, most of these buildings here tend to be shops on the ground and some sort of like either offices at the top, like this one's probably offices, or residential, like a hotel, guest house, motel. That's a formula. We don't need to complicate things. We can keep things simple. Simple things make money. So let's not complicate things. But yeah, let's get to our walking tour. So you know, that's what I mean, like another hotel and butchery, very, very common combination. Surprisingly common. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure how that idea came about, but hey. All right, so I've just walked that entire street. I'm now back on the actual main road. So I want to see if there's anything else, any other streets I can go down. So I found another side road. So this is the main road and this is the side road. But again, same pattern. First floor, shops. And then the next floors, I have no idea what these floors actually are. I think they're unused, but they could make really, really good guest house over here. They do have car parking down here, so that might mean that this is residential, so where people stay overnight, they park their car and then they sleep there. But yeah, so this is under construction. This is promising. This is what you want to see. This is what you want to see. People are actually investing in this area to make it great again. Ground floor shops, next floor's residential. Very, very, very simple. Simple money. Simple ideas make money. Simple things make money. Okay, simple things make money. That's the slogan for today. Electronic shops. So if you actually, maybe another idea would be to like supply these shops with electronics. So import them yourself and then supply them. So you don't need to actually you don't need to own a shop yourself, but you can just supply these people, whether it's clothes, shoes, electronics, and whatnot. So this is definitely CBD because up there it says CBD. So I do have to be a little bit careful with my phone, but I want to show you the videos anyways. So yes, I mean, not much to see here, honestly. Like I said, I sound like a broken record right now, but shops on the bottom, and then either offices or accommodation at the top for the next floors. So it's very, very simple. Shops, and then I think that's a guest house at the top. And some buildings have offices, like that one. I think those are offices over there. Yeah, and these might be offices here, but those up there look to be rentals for like living in. I've reached the end of the street, and again I see another hotel and butchery. This is a very strange combination to have, but it's very common here for some reason. And I noticed it. I'm glad I picked it up early. A hotel and butchery, very, very common. Cool, so I'm gonna end the video here. So today we've actually seen just a little bit of Eldoret, but the main points I want to give you is that simple makes money, right? Keep it simple, so don't overcomplicate your ideas. From what we've established, there's many different shops, and many of them do the same things, like hotel, the infamous hotel and butchery, which is one example over here. Hotel and butchery, it's simple, but it clearly makes money here, hence why there's so many of them. And then you've got the mobile money shops, the electronics shops, you've got the guest houses, and just general like hotels and stuff. So simple makes money. The key is identifying good opportunity, whether someone's selling land, whether someone's trying to exit their business. Then you can come in, and if you're interested, you can either partner with them or you can purchase it from them and then take control of things. But overall, this is just to get a quick idea of like how Eldoret is, how busy it is. And it's very, very busy. It's a massive city, as you can see, with all these cars parked. It was hard to find parking, but I did. Anyways, thank you for watching. Invest in Africa, stay blessed, more life.